Tanner Hirschfeld recently lost a Second Amendment case challenging a US gun law. Now, while that's not surprising, the challenge that Hirschfeld brought is a new one, and it's one that might have the stuff to go all the way to the Supreme Court. You're watching Liberty Nation's LNTV. I'm your host, Mark Angelides, and here to unravel this is our legal affairs editor, Mr. Scott DeCosenza. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Scott, who is Hirschfeld and what gun law is he challenging?
Hirschfeld is a college student in the United States in Virginia, and he's challenging a peculiar feature of U.S. law, which states that while people who are while people who are over the age of 18 are legally allowed to own handguns, they're not legally able to purchase them from federally licensed firearms dealers unless they're 21 years of age or older. So the people who are in those between years are legally able to own that firearm per the law, but not legally able to purchase it from a licensed dealer.
Okay, now Scott, why is there such a peculiarity in the law here? Why is there the mix between the 18 and the 21-year majority?
Well, we have this sort of dual track system in the United States where 18 is the common age of majority for almost everything in terms of the ability to contract. If you commit a crime when you're above the age of 18, you're treated differently than below. But yet 21 has come into the mix as an age of majority for the purchase of alcohol in the United States. And that kind of leapt over into the gun world.
But am I right in thinking that you can join the military at the age of 18, at which point you'll be issued with a gun anyway?
Not only can you're required in the United States to sign up for what's called selective service so that the military can voluntold you to join them if they so choose. Yes, you are right.
You can be telegated, as they say.
Right. And so just to be clear, who this affects most, Mark, are the people who are 18 years of age and not yet 21 who don't have a sort of gun culture of family and friends to rely on. If for a lot of Americans, I'm sure their parents may be interested in firearms or some other family member who can give them, for instance, a gun, which is perfectly legal, provided there are some hoops to jump through, but they can't go and buy one. And of course, what we hear often from the people who wish to restrict firearm sales in the United States is they want to take away the gun show loophole, which is, even though there is no actual loophole, what they're suggesting is they want all firearms to be transfers to be done through a registered and licensed dealer. Well, Mr. Hirschfeld wants to conduct his transaction through a licensed dealer. He is 18 years of age and older, not yet 21, and the government is denying him the right to do so. So that's where his challenge lies.
What did the court say about this?
The court said, no problem here with this government restriction. This was a lower court, a district court judge's decision, and it was one judge, and he said basically no impediment here in terms of the Second Amendment rights of Mr. Hirschfeld and other Americans similarly situated.
It does seem to have some legs with this. So I mean, what's the path with the appellate here?
Yes, the appellate is how we say it on this side of the pond, Mark, and I appreciate that.
Appellate, appellate.
Right, aluminium is the best one. Well, I think that the case is ripe for appeal. He can legally possess these things, but he can't legally buy them because of a federal law that seems to discriminate against him because of his youth. Now, if it was because of his the opposite, if it was because he was an older person and rather than a younger one, it would be a bit clearer case of age discrimination. But the combination of the age discrimination along with the frustration of his Second Amendment rights, I think makes it ripe for appellate review. And in terms of, this is the kind of case that I think we could see go before the Supreme Court. It's sort of a bit quirky. It's an area of the law that probably few people are impacted by in terms of the overall population, but yet it's such a blatant case of discrimination, and one which seems to yield not only no safety benefit to the public, but in fact the opposite of a safety benefit, an impingement on public safety, because of how these people, if they want to acquire a gun, they're incentivized to do so outside of the system of background checks that are in place.
So all that's really left, Scott, are the predictions. How do you think this is going to go?
Mark, I think that unfortunately, the appellate courts are probably going to continue to allow this situation because they're so deferential to state power. That's you said in your intro that it's no surprise that the Second Amendment challenge was not granted, because challenges to gun laws are usually stricken down. It's the rare bird where the courts say, yes, this in fact is an impermissible imposition on the Second Amendment. But we'll look forward to seeing, and I'll certainly keep you and everyone abreast of any developments in the case.
Many thanks, Scott. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mark.
And thanks to you at home for watching. If you enjoyed this, if you learned a little something, you can click like and subscribe down below, or you can head over to libertynation.com, where we've got a wealth of articles, podcasts, radio shows, and more LNTVs. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you there.